It's hard to believe this happened only 3 years ago. The Montreal Canadiens were last in the league, lost, tired, and searching for answers.
Matt, fans are left with hope for next season.
Yeah, of course, Maya. As difficult as this loss is, this elimination is for Habs fans, there is a lot to look forward to, and that's because the Montreal Canadiens are considered to be a young team in the NHL.
Then came a coach with no NHL experience, no fear, and one mission: to rebuild the pride of Montreal.
Votre entraîneur-chef, your head coach, Martin Saint-Louis.
This is the story of how Martin St. Louis turned a fallen giant into hockey's most exciting young team.
Do you think Marty St. Louis is the right coach to turn things around in Montreal?
Marty, you have an experience of people doubting you, and I think when Marc-Andre just mentioned that you coached at a junior level, you corrected him and said, Pee-wee, there's a lot of people out there that are doubting you right now. What do you have to say to those people?
You know, for me, all that stuff, you know, as an athlete, as a human, all that stuff that people want to doubt or talk and say and comment, to me, it's all noise. It's always been noise. And I've always been a guy that blocked the noise and gets after it. And that's what I intend to do.
When Martin St. Louis walked into the Canadiens' locker room on February 9th, 2022, the team had just lost 8 straight games. The record was .837. Confidence was gone. The mood was heavy. The last time the Canadiens had looked this lost was decades ago. Martin St. Louis was known as a Hall of Fame player, not as a coach. He had no NHL bench experience. Reporters called the hire risky. One national headline said, "Montreal turns to inexperience to stop the bleeding." Fans were unsure. Nobody knew what to expect. But Martin St. Louis saw something inside that locker room. In his first press conference, he said, "I believe in this group. It's about effort, not status." He focused on heart and energy. He didn't promise wins. He promised change. The change started fast. Cole Caulfield, who had only 1 goal in 30 games before the coaching change, scored 22 in his next 37. The same player who looked lost was suddenly leading highlight reels again. St. Louis told reporters, "You don't coach creativity out of a player. You help him find it." Nick Suzuki also improved under him. He became captain later that year, the youngest in Canadiens history at 23. Under St. Louis, Suzuki's point totals rose every season. By the end of 2022 to 2023, Montreal wasn't a playoff team, but it was competitive again. The team's offense increased by 0.7 goals per game. Their penalty kill improved by 6%, and their average age dropped to 25.8, one of the youngest in the league. Behind closed doors, players described a new culture. They said St. Louis spoke directly, without anger. After losses, he explained mistakes instead of punishing them. A Sportsnet report described the change as a clear message of trust between coach and player. The rebuild gained speed. Young talents like Juraj Slavkovsky, Kaiden Guhle, and Arbor Shekaj were given big roles early. Instead of sending rookies to the minors, St. Louis played them in key situations. He wanted them to learn under pressure, not in silence. His approach shocked other teams. Montreal wasn't winning every night, but they were fighting for every shift. The team that looked broken only months before was now fast, motivated, and proud to wear the jersey again. By the 2023-24 season, Martin St. Louis' message was clear: play fast, play fearless. The Canadiens opened the year with 3 straight wins, their best start in almost a decade. Reporters noted the visible change on the bench, players smiling, tapping sticks, talking between shifts. When asked about the difference, Captain Nick Suzuki said, "He lets us play our game. We make mistakes, but we learn from them." That simple approach built confidence inside a roster full of young players. Cole Caulfield became the center of that growth. Under St. Louis, his shot volume doubled. In November 2023, he reached 100 career points in just 159 games, one of the fastest paces in modern Canadiens history. St. Louis called him a natural scorer who just needs freedom. The trust spread beyond the top line. Juraj Slavkovsky, the 2022 first overall pick, improved from 4 goals in his rookie season to 20 the next. Caden Gould, a 22-year-old defenseman, averaged over 21 minutes per night. Arbor Shekaj became a regular fixture on defense after St. Louis defended him publicly when critics said he lacked discipline. St. Louis also changed how the Canadiens practiced. According to the Hockey News, his sessions focus on small area drills and decision-making under pressure, a mirror of how he played during his 16-year NHL career. "If you can think quicker, you can play quicker," he told reporters. By late 2024, the results were measurable. The Canadiens' scoring ranked 14th in the league, up from 29th 2 years earlier. Their power play jumped from 15% to 22%. Their home record improved by 10 wins, but the transformation wasn't only on paper. The locker room had become open and direct. During a November 2025 practice, St. Louis stopped drills and told his team, "Accountability starts with me." That clip went viral on Sportsnet's broadcast. Rookie Ivan Demidov credited the coach for his smooth NHL start. He said, "He explains everything. Even when I make mistakes, he tells me why." Not just what Demidov recorded 9 points in his first 10 games, following the same pattern of growth as Caulfield and Suzuki before him. The fan base responded quickly. Attendance at the Bell Center returned to full capacity, with over 21,000 fans per game. Team merchandise sales increased by nearly 30% compared to 2022, according to official NHL figures. 3 years ago, the Canadiens were near the bottom of the standings. Now they're competitive every night. The speed, the skill, the unity, all rebuilt under a coach who began with no NHL experience. Martin St. Louis didn't just revive a team. He restored belief in a franchise once written off. And in doing so, he's changing the future of hockey in Montreal, one game at a time.
Marty, you have an experience of people doubting you. And I think when Marc-Andre just mentioned that you coached at a junior level, you corrected him and said, "Pee-wee, there's a lot of people out there that are doubting you right now." What do you have to say to those people?
They were written off, but now they're coming for everything. Under Martin St. Louis, the Canadiens have turned from a rebuilding roster into a relentless, hungry force that refuses to quit. From grueling practices to last-second goals, this team isn't just playing hockey anymore. They're proving that Montreal matters again.
All that stuff, you know, as an athlete, as a human, all that stuff that people want to doubt or talk and say and comment, to me, it's all noise. It's always been noise. And I've always been a guy that blocked the noise and gets after it. And that's what I intend to do.
Since Martin St. Louis became head coach, the Canadiens have changed. He took charge in June 2022 after a long playing career. He was the 32nd coach in team history. In his first full year, Montreal finished near the bottom. But under his plan, that changed quickly. By the 2024-25 season, the Canadiens jumped to a record of 40 wins, 31 losses, and 11 overtime losses. That gave them 91 points, 15 more than the year before, and their first playoff trip in 4 seasons. These are not small steps. They are proof of change. In May 2025, the National Hockey League named Martin St. Louis one of 3 finalists for the Jack Adams Award. That award goes to the best coach in the league. He was honored for helping Montreal move from a rebuild into real competition again. His work caught the eye of analysts, players, and other teams. Now, at the start of the 2025-26 season, the Canadiens are working harder than ever. Training camp opened with a clear message. St. Louis told his players that every day mattered. Every shift had to mean something. Team captain Nick Suzuki backed that up. He said the group had to come hungry every day. That message stuck. In their recent games, Montreal's new style is showing. They beat the Chicago Blackhawks with a goal in the last seconds, 15.7 seconds before the horn, to be exact. Defenseman Caden Gooley scored that winning goal. It showed that the team doesn't stop pushing even when the clock is almost gone. That type of finish is what St. Louis has been asking for. In that same game, Montreal had 10 power plays. Chicago collected 39 penalty minutes. The Canadiens fired 12 shots on those chances. Those numbers are a sign of control, and also a sign that their special teams still have room to improve. St. Louis said that execution under pressure is part of what separates good teams from great ones. He is also testing new lineups. Reports from Sportsnet say St. Louis may move rookie Ivan Demidov into the top power play unit. Demidov, who joined Montreal from Russia, is already drawing notice. In one game, he stopped a breakaway chance by skating hard back on defense, something St. Louis wants from all his players. Global News reported that this kind of two-way effort is exactly what the coach expects from young talent. It's not just about scoring, it's about playing the whole game. Another player showing progress is Zach Bolduc. Montreal traded for him this fall. In his first 3 games, Bolduc scored in every match. His ice time jumped from just over 13 minutes to almost 17. He earned that through hard play. He also changed the way players train. In recent interviews, he said he wanted practice to feel like real game. He didn't want slow warm-ups or lazy drills. He told players that every shift in practice should mirror how they play when the puck drops for real. He said, "Do what the game demands." That line has become something of a motto inside the locker room. The Canadiens' improvement isn't only on paper. The team looks more organized, more confident. They still make mistakes. Every young team does. But now those mistakes come from trying, not from hesitating. St. Louis said that once players learn his system, he can demand more from them. That's what's happening this season. The change also shows in leadership. Nick Suzuki continues to grow as captain. The coach has made clear that every player must understand his role. In Montreal's system, the defensemen are expected to help the attack. The forwards must backcheck and protect the zone. Everyone moves together. Sportsnet noted that this approach has made the Canadiens harder to play against. Even league insiders have noticed. In a Reuters report from May 2025, St. Louis was called one of the best new coaches in the NHL. His name appeared next to veteran bench bosses like Scott Arniel of the Jets. For Montreal fans, that recognition mattered. It means the work is paying off. His players respect him because he's done it himself. St. Louis played more than 1,100 NHL games and won a Stanley Cup in 2004. He knows how to lead because he's been in their skates. When he speaks, the locker room listens. Montreal's hunger is now a defining trait. In interviews, players often repeat that word, hungry. It means they want to win, but also that they're never satisfied. The team's climb from last place to playoff status in 2 years shows that attitude. In a recent report from the Hockey News, St. Louis said this phase of the rebuild is about consistency. It's not enough to compete once in a while. The Canadiens must bring the same level every night. That's how real contenders are made. As the season continues, Martin St. Louis's impact can be measured not just in wins, but in how his team responds to pressure. The Canadiens aren't coasting through games anymore. They chase pucks, finish checks, and skate hard in every zone. Every sign points to a team that has rediscovered its edge. From the front office to the fourth line, Montreal is buying into what St. Louis started. The results are showing on the scoreboard, and across the league, people are starting to notice. The Canadiens have become what their coach demanded, hungry again.